Hi, I'm Sherry here at the Little Beading Closet, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. Share the beading love and subscribe to the channel. In today's tutorial, I will show you step by step how easy it is to make these colorful solitaire rings using a 6mm round crystal and seed beads. Let's look at all of our supplies and begin. Go ahead and pick out a 6mm round crystal for the center. You'll also need size 11 seed beads, and I'm using 2 different colors. They go around the crystal here. You can see that I use the gold primarily around most of the crystal, and I have 4 accent size 11s at the different corners, and that's these right here. And there are also size 11 seed beads here in the base of the ring. And size 8 seed beads for the band. I like using a silver line to really bring up the color. And size 15 seed beads here along the very edge of the crystal bezel and along the band. Today I'll be using a Miyuki round seed bead 15. Although when I made this one I used the size 13 Charlotte, that also works. And I'll use a crystal fire line along with the size 12 beading needle. Let's begin by making this bezel for the crystal and setting it inside. 2 feet of thread on your needle. Begin by picking up 12 size 11 seed beads on your needle. 9, 10, 11, and 12. Bring those down near the end of your thread, leaving a little bit of tail so you can tie a knot. You want to needle back through all 12 of the seed beads that you just added. And then needle through 3 more. Pulling your thread through and forming a circle. Next, you need 2 8s and 2 more 11s, picking up 1 8. Needle through 3 more of your size 11s. Picking up 1 11, needle through 3 more of the size 11s. Picking up 1 8, needle through 3 more of your size 11s. And picking up the last 11, needle through 3 more of your size 11s. And pulling tight. Skipping the 8, I'm going to needle through the next 3 11s. And step up into this 11 on the end. Picking up 3 size 11s, needle into the 8, turning it on my hand, picking up 3 more size 11s, coming through this 11 here, picking up 3 more 11s, coming through the next 8, picking up 3 more 11s, and coming back through this 11 here. We're finished with our tail. Let's go ahead and trim them off. Next, I'm going to be adding these 4 accents right along the crystal. Picking up one of my accents and needling through the next 3 seed beads. And you want that bead to sit on top of your size 8. Picking up one more, needling into the next 3 seed beads. And again, that bead will sit on top of the one underneath it. One more accent bead through the next 3 size 11s. Pulling it so it sits on top of your size 8. And the last one, coming through the next 3 seed beads. I'm just going to pull this all in my hand, kind of cupping it in. Now I'm just going to retrace this thread path until I'm back over here. So I'll be coming through my beads one more time. And as I do that, I'll start pulling it, cinching it in as I go. And stepping up into the accent bead. Repeating that, coming back around, just retracing and cinching it in. Finish by coming through the accent bead that sits above your size 8. So we'll go ahead and needle through the crystal. You can tell that the thread is coming up out of this size 11. This time I want to come through the bottom of this 11. Just bringing the crystal into the center. And turn it over in my hand. Come back through the crystal. And now entering into the 11 here, opposite from where we started. And I want to do that one more time. Maybe pushing down on your crystal, making sure it's in there tight. And finish by coming up through the 11. At this point, we're basically finished with our 6mm crystal bezel. We're just going to be doing the band and the 15s around the edge at the end. Step down into the 8, turning it over. I'll needle into the 11s underneath. And add a half hitch knot. And needle 1 bead away from my knot. And trim off my thread. And now we're just going to finish it up by adding our band and the 15s along the edge. To start the band, I'm going to cut off 2.5 feet of my thread, and you'll want to attach a needle to both ends of the thread. I prefer to use some tape to hold my piece down to the work surface to start. And make sure that you have access to your size 8 seed bead and center your thread onto it. I like to work with both needles and pick up a 15 on each one, bring them down onto my thread, and then picking up one of the 8s, crossing my needle through, and then pulling that all up next to my bezel. So just picking up a size 15 on each needle, bringing them down onto the thread, picking up one of the size 8s, bringing my other needle through it, again bringing that down to the thread and up to the work. It goes pretty quick this way. My helpful tip is to pick up the size 8 bead with your non-dominant hand and using your dominant hand to needle through the whole of it. Approximately 17 of the size 8 seed beads will give you a size 7 ring, although depending on brand and finish that could vary. So let's see how we're doing for our size before we go any further. You'll want to wrap it around your finger and see if your 2 size 8 seed beads can touch. If so, then you're ready for the next step of connecting them. You just need 2 more size 15s to connect the band over here. I'm going to pick up one of the 15s and needle through the 8 that's attached to the bezel. Taking my other needle and getting the last 15 and coming through the size 8 here at the bezel. I prefer needling away from myself, so I'll go ahead and turn it in my hand. I'll needle into the first 15. And then picking up 2 more 15s, needle into the next one. I'm going to repeat that on the other side, needling into the first 15, picking up 2 more 15s, and needling into the next 15. pulling them. Even tension on both sides. Following that method, I'll work 2 beads between each 15 on this side, and then 2 15s into the next 15 on the other side. Continuing that method all the way down till I get to the other end, working back and forth, this side and then the other side. Just keep working back and forth down to the other end. Once you've finished adding the pairs of 15 seed beads all the way along the edge of the band, needle through the size 8 seed bead that sits underneath your bezel. And do that with both needles. Next, pick up 6 of the size 15 seed beads and come through the size 11 here on the edge. Six more of the size 15 seed beads through your size 8. Repeating that along the other side with 6 more of the size 15 seed beads through the 11. And 6 more coming back through the size 8. Switching needles, picking up the other one. I'll retrace my thread path one time until you're needling through the size 8 with one thread coming out one side of it and the other thread coming out the other side. Pull everything tight. And now we just have to finish off our thread. To finish off the thread, come into the very first 15 and through your 8. You're going to come into the size 15 seed bead that sits between the 8s. And then back through your 8. And through the 15 that's between the size 8s. And back through an 8. And through a 15 between the 8s. And repeat that with your other needle and thread. So coming into the very first 15 and through the 8. And then needle through the 15 that's between the 8s. And then back through the 8. Come through the 15 that sits between the 8s. And then back through the 8. By now your thread is secure. And we'll go ahead and trim off our tails. I hope you enjoy making 6mm round crystal rings, and as always, have a beautiful day.